going, guys? Right now I am on my way to a buddy of mine's shop. He has a press and he's gonna help me install my bearings and my ball joints and the wheel hubs today, and hopefully by the end of the day we can get the front end on Frankenstein back together. So I'll see you when we get to the shop. Alright, so we're done at the shop now. I got everything pressed together. Now I just have to quickly run into town and get some propane.
Well, what a coincidence. I've been selling propane and propane accessories for over 20 years.
Because I ran out and I needed to heat the garage because it's another cold day. And once we're done that, we're going to head home. Alright, back home now, back out in the garage. So before I get started, I just want to give a quick shout out to Ryan at Addison's Auto Service. He just opened his shop on Monday, and I hit him up, asked him if he had a press and if he could put in my bearings and stuff for me. And he said, yeah, no problem, come on down. So brought everything to him and got it done pretty quick. So if you're in southern Manitoba, make sure you hit him up. I'll put a link to his website in the description below, so make sure you check him out. Alright, so we still got both upper control arms. They're ready to go from last time. Today I was at Ryan's shop and I got him to press in my wheel bearings. I got the hubs put on there as well as the ball joints. So they are both ready to go. They're looking mint. Both shock forks are ready to go. And then I have the lower control arm here for the driver's side. It's ready to go. I also was playing around with it a bit and I was able to get this installed. So I just lubed up the sleeve a little bit and wiggled it on there, and it actually made it on here okay. So I got that all tightened up and it's ready to go. So I think, yeah, let's start installing this stuff on the car. So if you remember last time, I got everything disassembled on the driver's side. So basically it's just going to be a matter of reinstalling everything. Something that I've been wanting to do for a while. I picked up a lightweight crank pulley quite a few months back already, and I have full access to it right now. So I'm thinking I might swap that out too. I was really debating whether or not I should do it because I know there's a lot of controversy around lightweight crank pulleys. A lot of people say that the factory one is balanced in such a way that swapping it out is going to do damage to your bearings inside. There's going to be too much vibration on the crank. And then other people say it's just fine. They say they've been running them for years and yada yada yada. So again, anytime I go online looking for answers, there's always mixed reviews and stuff like that, and I never actually get a straight answer. So I think the only way that I'm really gonna find out is by doing it myself. Okay, so I got my new crank pulley right here. It's a VMS Racing, so probably not the best one on the market, but it looks pretty decent. I mean, I think I'm gonna give it a try. I'm going to loosen the alternator belt and then loosen off the bolt on the crank pulley and see if we can get that thing off of there. Well, that was a fail. So I don't have the proper tools to use a breaker bar to take that bolt off the crank pulley, so I'm just gonna leave it for now. I just want to work on the bottom components, and we're gonna get the control arms installed and everything. I just got all the bolts cleaned up and everything's threading in really nicely, so I think it's time to start install. right, that is one side finished. Everything went together quite nicely, I think. I'm gonna move on to the passenger side now. I'm gonna quickly bang it out and get it over with because it's gonna be the exact same process as the driver's side. I don't really think I need to film too much of it unless I encounter any problems, then I'll let you guys know, but hopefully not. So I'll show you once I'm done.
A few moments later.
Well, I've gotten about as far as I can get today, or as far as I want to get today. I ended up getting everything off of the front end that I need to on the passenger side. The thing that's holding me up now is one more bolt. I'm gonna have to cut the bolt off and weld a new nut in there, and I am not motivated to do that right now, so I'll quickly flip the camera around and I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so we're under the car now, and this right here is the bracket that would hold the lower control arm in place. So you have two bolts here, and they just bolt up to the frame like this, and then this is the last bolt right here. So this one's actually a really short one, so I thought it would be the easiest one to get out, but that's not the case. So as you can see, I got it out quite a ways, but not quite enough, and I guess right when it got to the end of the threading, that's usually where most of the rust is on these bolts because they're exposed, and I guess it was just too much and the nut inside broke off. So basically what I'm gonna have to do is get a grinder, and I'm gonna have to cut the bolt off right in here, and then I'm gonna have to probably drill that hole slightly bigger so I can fit a proper sized nut in there. I'll weld it on there. Basically the same thing I had to do over here actually with the sway bar. You can see there, that one in the back right there. The same thing happened to that with the sway bar mount, so I ended up having to weld a nut there as well. So it'll be the same thing, so it's not like it's anything new for me, but it's just a bit of a headache because things were going so good, and then the very last bolt trying to get out, that's the one that breaks. So I mean, it's about as far as I can get today. I'll pick it back up again tomorrow, and I'll see you guys then.
The next day.
Alright guys, I've been working at this for a while today already, and here, I'll show you how far I've got. Alright, so here's the problem area again. So I've been able to cut the bolt off. So I got it out of there. I drilled the hole slightly bigger so that I could fit a nut in there. I actually found the exact nut and bolt that should go here. So what I did is I took a grinder and I just ground down the nut a bit to make it round, and then I pounded it in there with a hammer. So it's actually in there pretty tight right now. It's multi-layered steel, so the bottom layer here that I'm going to be welding to is a bit bigger than the layer inside, so it works out really nicely because the layer inside is what's holding it in place right now, and it gives me a big enough gap on the bottom here that I should be able to get pretty good penetration when I'm welding. So I'm basically to the point now where I want to start welding it, so I just wanted to show you guys kind of where I was at before I do that. I'll see you once I get this welded, and hopefully we can get this done tonight. Alright, got it all welded up. I know it doesn't look the greatest, but keep in mind I'm using a $150 Mastercraft flux core welder. So it's the best we got, but it'll hold. I got really good penetration on it, but I think next time I have the motor out of the car, I'm going to be dropping the subframe anyway. I'll probably be getting it completely redone, probably do a fresh powder coat on it or something like that, and then I can make sure that everything is good up here too. So I do have a spare subframe in the backyard, so I might end up using that one instead. But this should do for now. At least it'll get me through the year, and then maybe next winter that'll be the next project. So let's get on to the next thing. So I just sprayed a quick coat of paint on the nut underneath the car there, just so it doesn't rust. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm gonna try removing the crank pulley again. I went and I rented a tool, so I should be able to get it off today. So this is the tool I got. I just rented it for today, and what it does is it fits right in here and it just prevents it from turning, and then that'll allow me to break it loose. So it has a square here so that I can fit a breaker bar in there, and then I use a second breaker bar to break this bolt loose. So I'm going to try that now. Well, it fits on there. It actually doesn't look too bad. Right now it's kind of just temporary. I'm not going to torque it or anything like that because I honestly don't know when the timing belt was done on this car, and it looks like that bolt's been there for a very long time. So I'm thinking, since I have everything loose already anyway and it has really easy access right now, I'll probably end up doing a timing kit before spring. So just another thing I got to do before spring. Anyway, let's get back to the passenger side, and I'm going to get that back together, and then I'll show you once it's done. It's done, guys. Have a look at this. Everything's installed now, bolted up, everything's torqued down, so we are good to go up front here. So really there was only the one hiccup there where the one bolt wouldn't come out and I had to cut it and weld in a new nut, but honestly I was expecting it to be a lot worse than that. After welding the nut in there, everything lined up properly still, everything bolted up the way it should. So now that this job is all done, I gotta get to work cleaning up this garage because it is such a mess after this job. Tim's actually coming over tomorrow morning, and we're gonna do some work on the Furious Civic, so stay tuned for that. I know if he sees the garage like this, he's gonna have a brain aneurysm. So I guess the next big thing on Frankenstein is going to be the brakes. So I'm gonna order in some new pads and rotors for sure. The calipers still look to be okay. They just need a really good cleaning, so I might just disassemble them, and I don't know if I want to get them powder coated or if I'll just get like a brake caliper paint and then just bake it in the oven and then cure it that way. So yeah, there's a few options there, but I'm really liking the way this is turning out. I'm really excited to get it to the track this spring and just see how it feels, because it's going to be really tight now with those new bushings up front. The bigger brakes, it's going to make a huge difference. So I'm stoked. I hope you guys are too. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Of course, give us a thumbs up like always, and if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you hit that button. And yeah, we will see you next time, guys.